Welcome into WagerTalk TV. I am Drew Martin, joined by Rob Vino and Tony Mejia of WagerTalk.com. We're talking SEC college football here, Kentucky and Georgia, Tony. We got the CBS 3:30 game with Kentucky as the big road underdog here. We're seeing minus 23.5. That's the Georgia Bulldogs at home, Sanford Stadium. 44.5 the total in Athens. You liking anything here with the Wildcats and Bulldogs, Tony?
I mean, the values on Kentucky, because this seems like the happy marriage of Georgia getting a ton of respect, as they should, considering they're the number one team in the country and they've given up such little offense to a decent schedule. It's not like they played a ton of world beaters, but the way they humbled Clemson, I believe that the nation, or at least the bulk of the betting public, is going to believe they're going to handle Kentucky. The Wildcats scored 16 points against the South Carolina Gamecocks. I don't think many people believe that Kentucky can get into significant double digits here. But at the same time, it's a lack of respect for what Kentucky has done to date. And they do own wins over Florida and LSU rather convincingly. And they've done it in their style. And certainly Kirby Smart's saying all the right things to not provide bulletin board material. He said that no one has challenged Georgia like Kentucky up front over his tenure the past 5-6 years. He said, and quote, "I don't think the rest of the world understands the physicality of their offensive line. And we do, because we go up against it and they always give us problems." So from that standpoint, I think the values on Kentucky, I'm not sure that I want to touch that. I do think this is going to be a 3 yards in a cloud of dust type of contest for both, which essentially would lead you to the under. Doesn't give you much leeway with 44.5, but this could end up being one of those 24-10 games, 27-10.
Sure. Good stuff, Tony. And Rob, coming to you next, it's not a lot that we see, a 44.5 being the total with a minus 23.5 point spread. It's kind of a unique handicap in that sense, but a good one here in the SEC East, Kentucky and Georgia. What are your thoughts, Rob?
Well, I'll start with where power ratings that I keep put this game, Drew, and it put Georgia as a 25.5 point favorite. So, with 24 sitting in between what the current line is and what my power ratings rate this game as, 24 being a key number, could be a little bit of value toward the Georgia side according to those numbers, but we don't make plays on numbers alone. So I think when you look at it, there's one simple question it all begins and ends with in this game, and that would be, can Kentucky run the ball against Georgia? Because that's what Kentucky's best at, plain and simple. They have to be able to establish a run to do anything else. And in my mind, Georgia's defense defends the run better than Kentucky runs it. So Tony was right. Kirby Smart is saying all the right things. And sure, their offensive line is physical. But I'll say this, the last two offensive lines they faced, that of Arkansas and Auburn, don't lack for physicality either, and don't lack for good running backs either, and don't lack for dual threat running quarterbacks either. And Georgia had no problem with either one of those, 37-0, 34-10. KJ Jefferson, dual threat quarterback for Arkansas, much the way Will Levis is for UK, although Levis is a bigger guy, right? He's built bigger, he's a little bit stronger. But still, the running threat is what we're talking about here without extreme passing accuracy out of Will Levis. They're kind of the same. KJ Jefferson had 8 carries for 5 yards against this defense. Bo Nix had 10 carries for minus 16 yards. And, there's sack yardage included in that. These guys hit behind the line trying to get away. But neither one of those running quarterbacks, dual threats, was able to dent this Georgia defense. I don't know that Kentucky will. Their play calling is run heavy, right? 62% run, 38% pass. Again, everything they do at Kentucky offensively is predicated off being able to run. Liam Cohen, the new offensive coordinator who came in from the Rams, trying to put that Rams offense in here, or install the Rams offense for Kentucky in order to generate more out of the passing game. It really hasn't shown up yet. I don't know that it shows up here against this defense, Drew. Their receiving core, it's so top-heavy because Wan'Dale Robinson, 37 catches with their number 2 receiver, Josh Ali, out of this game, the next 2 wide receivers combined only have 10 catches. So you basically have 1 wide receiver for Georgia to worry about when you throw. And their tight end only has 6 catches on the season in 6 games. It's a lot of fundamental reasons here to like the Georgia side. Let's add to it this. Kentucky's played 6 games this year. 5 of those 6 have been at home. The only time they went on the road this year was to South Carolina. And as Tony mentioned, against South Carolina, they only win that game 16-10. So I don't know that coming into Athens, if I add to it the fact that entering Athens as a divisional opponent from the SEC East with a 6-0 record, obviously that gets the attention of Georgia. Under normal circumstances, this would be a game after Georgia has just played Arkansas and Auburn. This would be a game where you might see Georgia not focused on this one, and taking 23.5 would be a pretty easy call. But Kentucky puts the bullseye on their own chest by being 6-0 and by being in the SEC East. And for anybody who watched the Kentucky game last week, by the end of the third quarter, the broadcast team was talking about ways that Kentucky can beat Georgia. So that's not going to slide by Georgia here. I think they'll come out fully motivated. Back to the point of Kentucky won't be able to run here. Listen, their statistics look nice, but those running statistics, those rushing stats are built upon playing UL Monroe, 88th in run defense. Missouri, dead last in the FBS, 130th in run defense. South Carolina, 81st in run defense. And LSU, 77th in run defense. You can throw Tennessee Chattanooga FCS in there. When they played Florida, the only top 30 total defense they faced, they only gained 224 yards. I just don't know how they move the ball here against this team. Maybe Georgia first half, if they come out like a house of fire right off the get-go. And I'll tell you this, Drew, to that point, for Georgia, in the first half, they're 6-0 against the spread this year. We often talk about Alabama first half, but Georgia is 6-0, and they've allowed 9 points total in 6 games in the first half. The average first half score of a Georgia game is Georgia 24.5, the opponent 1.5. So you could definitely look Georgia first half here if you want. I think they're the better side in all regards. If you blindly bet Georgia full game, first half and second half without even thinking this year, through 6 games, you're 16-2. Cash and tickets, 89%. I'd probably look Georgia in this game any way you want to look at them, first half or full game, and possibly under as well. Kentucky's good for maybe 10 points in this one. A 34-10 wouldn't surprise me, but 37-10 wouldn't surprise me either, and that gets you over the total.
2 6-0 teams, both 5-1 against the spread. Going to be a fun one on Saturday, prime time on CBS. Enjoy it, guys. The Bulldogs and the Wildcats. Also, remember, $2 Tuesday at WagerTalk.com. Top handicappers, top play, discounted to just $2. Check it out, WagerTalk.com.